Hey, Dad, with you, Eric Sorenson from D1Baseball.com. Our good friend Eric joins us right now. And, we asked you to talk college baseball with us, Eric, but I know you're a Stitchhead.
Yeah.
That's literally your Twitter account, Stitchhead. So you've seen the news. What do you think about what's going on at the major league level with the season, or at least the start of the season, getting canceled and seemingly no deal anywhere close to being reached to get the season going?
Yeah, that was a drag. I woke up this morning, Michael, and realized, okay, it's March now, or maybe it's yesterday. Today's the 2nd. That's right. No, today's the 1st. So I woke up and I thought, okay, so it's March now. That means by the end of this month, the pros were supposed to be starting at this time, but it doesn't look like they're going to. It looks like college baseball is going to be the only game in town. Of course, that's big for you guys in your listening area for Mississippi and Mississippi State fans. But, yeah, it just seems like the players have kind of gotten a raw deal over the years as the years have gone on, and the owners don't want to give up any money, all that. I don't know the details of it because I'm more of a college guy, but I do know that it seems like they're certainly at an impasse and doesn't look like it's going to be any baseball played in the big league parks at the end of this month like everybody thought there would be. So bummer. It's a drag. It's a bad thing, but come on back to college baseball, you guys. It'll be fine.
Well, that's a question we're getting a lot here, Eric. Do you think this is an opportunity, a window for ESPN to maybe grow the game of college baseball a little bit and showcase it a bit more?
Oh, yeah. I hope they do it. And, I mean, there's a lot of games that are on ESPN Plus that you can get, and to look at through your mobile devices and all that. I would love to see for them if this does keep going and it's not going to happen for the pro ball players for the foreseeable future. I would like to think they would take some of these games that are just available on online only or something like that and put them up. Especially the Friday night games where you see some of the better pitchers in the country that are going to be pro players, that are going to be pro pitchers here in a few years. So I hope ESPN does something like that. I think it'd be smart if they did. And plus, they got a lot of program that they're going to have to fill, obviously, too. So it kind of stands to reason that they might give the old college try, as they say, a little bit more of a platform here in the early parts of this season.
Hopefully so. Eric Sorenson, D1Baseball.com, joins us right now. So you're a West Coast guy at heart, and Long Beach State came into Starkville and took 2 of 3 from Mississippi State. They turn around and follow that up with a sweep, but the bad kind of sweep. They were on the wrong end of a sweep from Sacramento State. So what Long Beach State is the real one? The one that went to Starkville and won a series, or the one that lost a series at home to Sacramento State?
Well, I think first things first, I saw the Sunday game down in Long Beach at Blair Field and Sacramento State. Sac State is, I mean, a lot of people don't know it, but in the state of California, they're the only program in the state that has won 9 straight years, has won 30 games or more. And that's kind of an odd statistic because you don't hear a lot from Sacramento State. But Reggie Christensen does a great job. This really is a good Hornets team. And Long Beach just kind of had a little bit of bad luck. They were in the lead for all of those games, gave up some late taters, home runs that cost them. I think the team that Long Beach is going to be the team that you guys saw in Stark Vegas. But I just think Sacramento State's one of these teams that kind of flies under the radar all the time. And this time, in fact, the first thing Coach Christensen said to me in the postgame, he's like, "Don't call it an upset. Look, we've been beating people like this for years and don't get much credit for it. So it's not an upset to us." So I think Long Beach State's still going to be good. It's just one of ththose early season things where the breaks didn't go their way. More than is more of what I look at it with.
And then obviously here in Starkville, State 4-3 on the season. The 2 losses to Long Beach, a loss last week to Northern Kentucky. Their RPI, I know it's super early, but their RPI is 281 as we're sitting here today. I assume you're going to believe that Mississippi State's going to get things figured out, but do you still like this team overall as one of the top teams in the country?
Yeah, I would still put them in it if I had to project and like what I think will happen, a kind of a crystal ball kind of thing. I would still put them as one of the best 16 teams in the country. I don't have them in my top 16 power rankings right now, but that has more to do with just, you lose to Northern Kentucky. All right, you're going to get punted a little bit. But yeah, no, I think, Michael, I think it's just a team that's kind of working through some things. The talent is certainly there. I mean, there's no denying that. The only thing I worry about is, you know how the SEC is. Sometimes if teams scuffle in the non-conference, they can kind of lose their footing and never quite get it back. I don't think that's going to happen with Mississippi State just because, again, I think their talent is too good. But I would hate to see it kind of landslide on them. And that happens sometimes to teams because the SEC is so damn good. But I think Coach Lamonis and them will turn it around. And they'll end up being a good team. Now, they're going to have a hell of a test this week coming up against Tulane and doing it on the road for the first, I think it's the first true road series of the season away from home. So yeah, it's going to be tough. This is going to tell us a lot more this weekend, I think, than any other weekend, even more so than the Long Beach State weekend. So I'm definitely keeping a side eye on this series coming up with Tulane, but I think Mississippi State's going to be decent, going to be a national contender, not just decent, but a national contender in the end. It's just one of those things where, you hit a little bit of black ice on the colder parts of the month.
Eric Sorenson, D1Baseball.com, joining us right now. Turning the page to the other SEC program in the state of Mississippi, we had this conversation a bit yesterday. So Ole Miss's offense returned, well, basically everybody, and they've got some pieces that come off the bench and hit the ball really well. And so far this year, they've looked like an elite-level offense. Is that enough to meet expectations? Because when you look at Ole Miss and really the rest of the SEC, there isn't like the Casey Mize, there isn't the Doug Nikhazy, there isn't the Will Bednar, these elite power arms across the league. Can a high-level offense be enough to carry a team to expectations like they have in Oxford?
Yeah, I think that's interesting about you're saying how there's not those really scary Friday guys out there like there normally is. But I still have to go against and say, no, you can't get by on offense. And I think that's one of the things. I mean, Ole Miss they have the best offense in the SEC as far as what they had returning. We'll see if LSU it bests them a little bit because they've got such a great batting order too. But man, no, you've got to be able to pitch it. You're going to have with the SEC, you know how it is, man. Your bats can go south at any moment, so you got to be able to pitch. You got to be able to play defense. That's just how it is. You can't. The only way the offense takes over more so is in the SEC tournament, where it's just one game after another, day after day. Before that, though, you got to pitch. You got to play defense. Obviously, Ole Miss is doing pretty well on the pitching side of things so far. Looking at it now, 2.20 ERA. They'll get a good test this weekend, too, against Central Florida, who's 6-1. So I think the pitching's going to be necessary, but they have enough for it.
Only about maybe 60 seconds left, Eric. What's been the biggest surprise of the first 2 weeks for you?
Oh, probably Tommy Tanks at NC State hitting like that 9 home runs so far. I think that's it. Excuse me. But I think the Long Beach Mississippi State series was – just Mississippi State scuffling was a little bit of a surprise, too. I would say those are the two biggest things so far. But a lot of baseball to be played, obviously. This is going to be a long season, and you're going to see a lot of ebbs and flows.
Is that the best nickname you've ever heard? I cannot think of a nickname I've loved more. Maybe Dr. J, something like that. But Tommy Tanks might be the best nickname in modern sports right now.
Yeah, it certainly is in our college baseball world. I just tend to wonder, he's a freshman, and I tend to wonder how he's going to do when April and May comes around facing all that ACC pitching. And you know how those high schoolers are used to, freshmen are used to high school where it's short seasons comparatively so. So great name so far and great results for Elliott Avent and that NC State team who really seems to be rolling.